All right, let's be honest. Have you ever been in a chess game where you are just completely crushing it, only to watch the wins somehow slip through your fingers? Well, today we're going to fix that. We're diving into the best moment in chess, checkmate, and more importantly, how to turn a position that should be winning into one that is actually won. And believe me, they are not always the same thing. Does this sound familiar? You've played a fantastic game, you're up a whole queen, maybe a rook, but that enemy king is just so slippery. He just keeps wriggling away and you can't land that final punch. It is one of the most frustrating things for any chess player, that gap between knowing you should win and actually, delivering the mate. So here's the secret. Landing that knockout blow, it's not about luck. It's not about just chasing the king around and hoping for the best. It's a skill. It's all about recognizing specific, repeatable patterns. And once you learn to see them, I promise you, you will start seeing them everywhere. So let's start at the beginning, with the absolute fundamentals. I want you to think of these as the basic grammar of checkmate. You've just got to know these cold, because they are the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. First up, the big one, king and queen against a lonely king. Now, the queen is an absolute powerhouse, right? But here's the catch. She can't deliver checkmate all by herself. The whole idea here is restriction. You use your queen to build this shrinking cage, this box, around the enemy king. And the real aha moment is when you realize you're not just attacking. With every move, you're taking away squares, forcing them into a smaller and smaller prison. So how do you actually do it? Well, it's pretty much a simple three-step recipe. First, you box them in with your queen. Create that cage. Second, you bring a friend to the party. March your own king up the board to help out. And third, you just push their king to the edge of the board and boom, deliver mate. It's that straightforward. Okay, next up is the king and rook mate. And honestly, this is probably the checkmate you're going to face most often in your own games. The concept? It's almost exactly the same. You shrink the box. The rook creates this hard line, this wall that the enemy king just cannot cross. Then you just slowly walk your king up, squeeze them to the side, and finish the job. Oh, and this one is just so cool. It's called the ladder mate, and it's all about pure teamwork. Get this. With two rooks, you don't even need your king. They work together like a pair of sliding doors. One rook cuts off a rank, the other one delivers a check. The king has to move back. Then they just switch jobs, back and forth, pushing the king all the way down the board. It's simple, it's clean, and it is absolutely devastating. All right, we've nailed down the fundamentals. Now we get to the really fun stuff. We're moving on to the tactical patterns that can win you the game on the spot, often right out of the middle game. These are the knockout punches you need to have in your toolbox. The back rank mate. I mean, come on, if you've played any chess online, you know this one. You've won with it, and you've definitely lost to it. The king is sitting back there, all snug and safe behind his little wall of pawns. Or so he thinks. That pawn shield can turn into a prison wall in a heartbeat when a rook or queen slides all the way to the back. So, what are the red flags? Here's your mental checklist. First, you see a king trapped behind its own pawns. But crucially, you have to check for an escape square. We call it Luft in chess, which is German for air. Basically, has the opponent given their king a little breathing room? If the answer is no, and you've got a heavy piece staring down an open file, well, ding, ding, ding. You might just have a checkmate. Okay, this might be the most beautiful checkmate in all of chess. The smothered mate. It's the ultimate example of the knight's weird, magical power. The king is completely boxed in, smothered by its own army. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, a knight just hops over everybody to deliver the final blow. It's pure chess poetry. And here we have a true classic, one of the oldest patterns in the book, the Arabian mate. What makes this so deadly is the synergy, the teamwork between a knight and a rook. They're the perfect tag team. The knight protects the rook, letting it get right next to the king, and it takes away the only escape square. It's a beautiful, elegant trap. Okay, so we've looked at some really powerful patterns. But look, there are hundreds of these things out there, and that can feel pretty overwhelming. So where should you actually focus your energy to get the biggest improvement? Let's build your checkmate hit list. So here's the deal, and if you only take one thing away from this explainer, let it be this. Focus on tier 1. Seriously, these are your bread and butter. Back rank ladder, mate queen and king, rook and king, and the smothered mate. These 5 patterns show up in games all the time. If you master just these 5, I guarantee you will start winning more games immediately. Then, once you've got those down cold, you can move on to Tier 2 to really sharpen your tactical vision. So, knowing the patterns is one thing, but spotting them in the middle of a real game, with the clock ticking down, that is a whole other challenge. So, how do you actually burn these patterns into your brain so you see them instantly? Let's talk training. Here it is, your 4-step action plan. Number 1, daily puzzles. Non-negotiable. Just do 10 or 15 a day, focusing on simple checkmates. 2, study the classics. Go play through some games by the great attackers, like Paul Morphy. You'll see these patterns in action. 3, practice the basics against an AI. Drill those king and queen and king and rook mates until you can do them in your sleep. And number 4, and this is probably the most important one, review your own games. Go back and find the checkmates you missed. It is the fastest way to improve. And that really is the heart of it all, isn't it? We all want to deliver that satisfying final checkmate. But the path to getting there isn't just about raw aggression. It's about recognition. It's about seeing the geometry of the board and understanding the stories these patterns are trying to tell you. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with a question. It's not just about what you learned today, but about what you're going to apply. Which pattern are you going to spot in your next game? Will it be a sneaky back rank, a beautiful smothered mate? Keep your eyes open, because I promise you, the patterns are always there, just waiting for you to find them. All right, that's all for this one. Now go out there and find some checkmates.